person responsible for what happened here, and that person is now in custody and will be charged soon and will be held accountable.
The man accused of shooting and killing popular conservative activist Charlie Kirk is now in custody. Officials have identified the suspect as 22-year-old Tyler Robinson of Utah. These are newly released booking photos of Robinson. He was taken into custody around 10 p.m. last night, arrested on suspicion of aggravated murder, felony discharge of a firearm causing serious bodily harm, and obstruction of justice charges. All are state felony charges, and aggravated murder carries the possibility of the death penalty. A judge has ordered he be held without bail, and formal charges are expected to be released early next week. State and federal court records do not show any prior criminal cases involving Robinson. According to Utah Governor Spencer Cox, a family member of Robinson reached out to a family friend who then contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he was responsible. Kirk was shot in the neck Wednesday while speaking at Utah Valley University in Orem, south of Salt Lake City. The event was part of his American Comeback Tour. The 31-year-old founder of Turning Point USA is credited with helping rally young voters to conservative causes. Some of the evidence officials shared against Robinson included messages on Discord where he mentioned retrieving a rifle and a scope. Investigators also found engraved shell casings at the scene of the shooting.
Investigators noted inscriptions that had been engraved on casings found with the rifle. Inscriptions on a fired casing read, "Notices bulges, capital OWO, what's this, question mark." Inscriptions on the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist, exclamation point, catch, exclamation point." Up arrow symbol, right arrow and symbol, and 3 down arrow symbols. A second unfired casing read, "Oh Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow Chow." And a third unfired casing read, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO."
Cox also said Robinson had become more political in recent years and had criticized Kirk while mentioning he was due to appear at the upcoming event at Utah Valley University. Officials say Robinson was not a student at the university, and according to the Associated Press, Robinson was a registered voter but was not affiliated with either political party. Investigators believe he acted alone, but this is an ongoing investigation.